He's got the belly. He's out of shape. He's not out of shape. Obviously, he's a professional fighter. He's in incredible shape, but he just doesn't look like a normal fighter. You know what I mean? I love this guy. He's got the mullet. Fantastic all the way around. I am a fan. He's also another Canadian guy. So I was going to say Canadian brother, but I'm not Canadian, so I guess I can't call them that. So Philipe Lins, not impressed. That's all I got to tell you. I whiffed on a gorgeous opportunity to fade him in his UFC debut. He was coming in against Andre the Pitbull Arlovsky, and I called it. That was an underdog upset that I absolutely called, and I just didn't sack up enough to actually put my money down and win it. He got absolutely worked by Andre Arlovsky, and I knew he could. And everybody kept talking about, ooh, Lins' knockout power, Lins by KO. Dude, he's been fighting trash cans. I know he won the PFL tournament. I know that. But he fought bums in the PFL tournament, and I think he was juiced to the gills during the PFL tournament. USADA exists in the UFC, and I don't think that this guy looks the same since he's come over, and I fully expected that. On top of that, that fight was in May, folks. May. So he's only had, what, 3 months to get ready for this fight with Boser? So what do we think happened in that 3 months? Is he going to have a higher output? No. He's a low output fighter. He relies on the KO. Is he going to train and adjust his style? No, not in 3 months. And is he going to be in better shape? Probably not in 3 months. And especially if he is off his juice, he definitely won't be in the kind of shape that we're used to seeing him in the PFL. The biggest key here for me is his low output. He really doesn't throw a lot of strikes in any of his fights, so it just comes down to being able to clip his opponents. Tanner Boser is a regional scene hero. This guy is 17-6, comes over to the UFC, and unfortunately gets thrown to the wolves. First off, he gets his win against Daniel Spitz, good solid 15-minute decision, and then they give him Cyril Gane. Just kill the guy. Why don't you? Cyril Gane is an absolute monster, and Tanner Boser went a full 15 with him. This guy has a chin. This guy has cardio. He's got a stiff jab. He's got good head movement. He has great footwork, and he's very light on his feet for a big boy. He has long blitz attacks. He closes that range very, very well, and he's actually really elusive and likes to work the leg kicks. He actually has several leg kick TKOs. He's kicked people so hard so many times in the legs that they have eventually given up, and then he mixes it up and goes to the body with those kicks. I like Tanner Boser a lot. I think he's a solid mid-tier fighter. Obviously not ever going to be like a championship caliber type of guy, but if you're not UFC caliber, he's gonna beat you. He's just that guy. And I'm actually just kind of biding my time here. So right now, we have got a straight pick'em on this fight, and money is coming in, unsurprisingly, on Lins. Everybody knows this guy from the PFL. Everybody knows this guy from being the knockout threat that he was just a very short time ago, and I expect money to come in on him. Line movement is not my specialty. In fact, normally I suck at it. But in this case, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. I think a lot of people are going to bet Lins. A lot of people are going to write off Boser. A lot of that because of how he looks, because of the level of the supposed level of opponents they've been facing. It hasn't been all that different, trust me, but they think that the PFL fighters are better than the fighters that Boser has been facing, so they see a level of competition increase for Lins, and they see him succeeding at that, so they're going to think he's going to be the winner here. I'm going to wait until Boser gets to even money. I'm going to wait till he gets to being a slight dog, and then I'm going to pull the trigger. I fully intend on betting Boser. Now, I just told 143 people live that's my angle, and I'm going to bet Boser. So if all you assholes run out there and ruin that line for me, that's what I'm going to do. So if I see the line start to tilt the other way, if money starts coming in the way I like on Boser, and he gets down to being, you know, minus 110, minus 115, something, I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to go ahead and hit it because I don't want to lose out. I don't want to be paying minus 130 or minus 140 for this guy. I think it's very, very close, but I like the fighting style of Boser, and because of the low output for Lins, I think Boser is just going to whack his legs to death. I see another possible leg kick TKO here, and if not, I see a 15-minute convincing decision where one guy hit the other constantly, and the other guy couldn't catch him. I think Boser's going to win this fight. I think Lins is going to go 0-2 in the UFC, and they're going to boot him. He's here for a paycheck, folks. He won $1 million in the PFL, and you can't wake up in silk sheets and come to the UFC thinking you're going to take on a hungry fighter and just walk through him. It ain't happening. Boser's coming for real, and I don't know if Philipe Lins is for real, and I definitely don't know that he is on this level. So give me Boser. I'm all about Boser. Haven't made it yet, but that is a bet that I will make very, very soon. Let's go Boser. Dude's a stud, and you know what? I'm just going to assume you're talking about me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Boser, that's right. That's what I'm talking about. Check out the current interview on YouTube. JMD, thank you, my friend. I will do that for sure. I listen to interviews and stuff like that essentially constantly. That's about all I do. Lins' last performance against Arlovsky didn't impress anybody. And the worst part about it is his last performance is every performance. He fights like that every time. And then the only thing that's different is he catches the guy and knocks them out. So just saying. You could say that Lins isn't fighting for the money at all. That's very true. And that's exactly what I think is happening, is if he's got $1 million in the bank, if he's not fighting for the money, I mean, what's he here for? I don't think he's, I don't know. I don't think he's UFC caliber, and I don't see the type of adjustments being made in 30 days, or I'm sorry, 3 months. I don't see him being able to adjust enough to be a different fighter than we just saw. So, I mean, maybe if it was 9 months, if it was 6 or 9 months and he'd been back and working hard. Remember, we're in quarantine, folks. Even if he is in the gym, he's got limited training partners, he's got limited coaching staff. We're not going to see a massive jump in this guy's opportunity to adjust and change and do something different. He's going to be very similar to the fighter that we just recently saw. On top of that, I got to give a shout out to my boy here. Let me look over on my page because I got to give a shout out here. I want to make sure I do it right. I've been talking to my buddy, I think Ryan Payne. Ryan Payne, I think you're in the chat also tonight, my friend. We've been talking about the angle of fighters who have been doing these quick turnarounds for the UFC fights, and so far they have not fared well. So keep that in mind. He's another one that fought very recently and is now turning around again to fight a very game opponent who has not fought during the Corona times, and I think that's a disadvantage. And we got some laughing here in the chat. Glad I could bust you people up. Love it.